And welcome. Monday morning, Deal Doctor, Monday afternoon already, Deal Doctor Live. Welcome, thanks for joining. As you see, I have these little earbuds in, and on the other end of this is Tim Creech in our Jackson office. And
Hey, everybody.
Tim is going to join us to walk through a few for sale by owner interviews, prospect calls, and expireds, and whatever else we can get to for you. So, FSBOs are going to be a good opportunity. It's going to be real fertile ground this year, in my opinion. And so we're going to get right to it. Get your pens ready, pencils ready, make some notes, record this, whatever you want to do, because I think it's going to be really valuable to you. You're going to put thousands of dollars in your pocket if you listen and you do what Tim does, because he's very, very good at it. With no further ado, Tim is going to give me a little call right now.
All right, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, this is Tim Creech. I'm the associate broker at 5 Star Real Estate. I'm calling about the home at 123 Bennett Street. Is this the owner?
Yeah.
Hey, terrific. I've got a couple questions for you. Have you got a quick minute?
I have a minute. We're not really thinking about listing the house. We're really selling it ourselves.
Sure, I can appreciate that. Well, I just have a couple quick questions for you. Maybe I can help you find a good buyer. I guess my first question is going to sound a little crazy, but are you 100% committed to selling your home, or are you just testing the market?
Well, based on the numbers we've looked at, we're pretty committed to giving it a good effort to sell our house.
Terrific. And if you sold the home, where are you planning on going next?
We got a house picked out on a lake, actually, we're interested in.
Oh, super. Okay, house picked out on the lake. That sounds great.
Yeah.
How soon were you hoping to be out on the lake?
Well, I hope to be out there before summer. I mean, move in before Memorial Day weekend, so we can enjoy it all summer long,
Terrific.
Sure.
Have you already bought that house, or is it one that's on the market right now?
Well, it's on the market. We hope to get our home sold really quickly and then make an offer on it. Yeah, that's our plan.
Terrific. So kind of on, let's say, a 1 to 10 scale, with 10 being your bags are packed and you're ready to go, how motivated are you to sell your home at this time?
No, 4, I guess. 4 or 5, maybe 6.
4 or 5, maybe 6. Okay, so it sounds like you're working hard towards wanting to get into that new home. You just have to get this one sold first.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, and I actually was driving by showing property in your area, and I saw your sign, jotted down your number. How much are you asking for the home?
$240. Yeah, $240.
240. 240. Terrific.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, my name again is Tim Creech. I'm with 5 Star Real Estate. What was your name?
Don.
Don. Nice to talk with you, Don. Don, are you able to adjust your price if you're working with a buyer?
We think we got a price to sell, and at $240, that's kind of where we need to come out. I don't think we have much room to move.
I see. And how did you determine that 240 price?
Well, we took what we owe on the property and then what we needed in order to put a down payment on the lake house. And then we took out the commission or the closing costs, excuse me, and that's kind of where we ended up. 240 would do it for us.
Gotcha. So what made you decide to sell it yourself rather than having it in an active market with an agent?
Well, if we hired an agent, well, we'd end up with less down payment, with paying a commission. 2 commissions, actually, yeah.
But it sounds like you're pretty committed to trying to purchase that lake house at the same time. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Kids are already picking out a speedboat.
Yeah, I tell you, the way the weather's been, I'm already thinking about summertime being on the lake myself. So if you were to list your home Have you got an agent already picked out that you want to work with?
Mm. My brother-in-law is in the business, and we've talked with him a little.
Gotcha. So you've had a couple conversations with them, maybe.
Uh-huh.
How much time do you think you might take before you consider interviewing the right agent for the job of getting your home sold?
Well, we're February, maybe a couple months.
I see. Okay. Well, are you aware that in our market, it can take you about 64 to 65 days on average to get a home like yours sold?
Okay. Well, that kind of fits, but how does that, is there a problem with that?
Well, I'm just thinking if you need to get this home sold in order to get yourself positioned to try to go out and purchase the other home that's on the market right now, wouldn't you like to be able to get this home actually done and completed so you wouldn't miss the opportunity to buy that house you like?
Hmm. I guess I hadn't thought of that. I guess, yeah, I suppose as weather warms up, that lake house is gonna see more demand, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We're starting to already get people calling and asking not just about property in general, but they are starting to think about lake homes. And I'd hate to see you miss one if you've got your eye on it, because you'd hate to sell the home you have and find out the one you wanted was already gone. So it sounds like you've got kind of an important sense of urgency to get your home sold. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe I guess I didn't look at it that way. Now that you mention it.
Well, Don, if I were to bring a buyer over that was willing to pay a price that you're comfortable with, are you offering to pay a buyer side commission?
Oh no, not at the 240. I couldn't do that. No, not get what I need to pay down on the next house.
Gotcha. So you'd have to make sure that you are netting an amount that would let you move forward with your intended purchase.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense. I can certainly understand that. Well, if I were able to show you how you could list your home for sale, pay a commission, and still net enough money to get into that lake home and still stay in the time frame that you were wanting to do, would that have any interest to you?
Hmm. I think I'd want to talk to my wife about it.
Sure. And when making a big decision, I'd be surprised if you didn't want to talk with your wife about it. But if I could sit down and just show you guys and say about a 20 or 30-minute conversation where we could help you accomplish those goals, do you feel like that's something that could help you?
Well, I tell you what, talk with my wife, and then I'll call you. If we're interested, I'll call you back.
Okay, well, I could certainly appreciate that. So let me ask you this. If I brought a buyer over, though, that was offering a price you're comfortable with, would you pay a buyer side commission?
The price well, what do you mean by a price that I'm comfortable with?
Well, if the offer that they made, and we could show you what you would net after paying a buyer commission, would get you that price, is that something you'd entertain doing?
I suppose I could do that. Yeah, I suppose we could do that.
Terrific. Well, is your wife usually home in day, afternoons, or evenings?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that better to catch
she
her?
works usually until 4:30 or 5.
Oh, terrific. Well, I've got an opening Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. How about if we pin you down for a 6 o'clock meeting, knowing it'll only take about 15 minutes, maybe 20?
Mm-hmm.
We could get there together and visit. What's your wife's name?
Tammy.
Oh, sorry, Tammy?
Sure, we'll go with Tammy.
Terrific. Well, how about if I put you down for 6 o'clock? I'll come out and meet with you and Tammy, and we could just have a conversation about how we can possibly help you. It's no pressure. If I could say some things that make sense to you guys, terrific. If not, maybe I just got you some more information that would help you sell your home quicker.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Terrific.
Yeah.
I'll plan on 6 o'clock. And again, I'm Tim Creech. I'm with 5 Star Real Estate. This is my cell number I'm calling you from if anything happens to come up.
Fair enough.
FISBO 101.
That's Fizbo. I threw some tough ones at Tim, and he handled them like a pro. So there's another step to this process, though, and I want Tim to take it to the next step with his pre-qualifications. Once he's established that appointment, I'm going to let him take it.
Okay, so let's say we're still on that same call. I would normally go right into what we call a pre-qualifying script. And it's a list of questions that I consistently ask every time before I go out to meet with somebody. And I found that, to be honest, this will sound a little crazy if you've never done it before, but I consider the pre-qualifying script to probably be more important than the time I actually spend in the living room. So here's how that one goes. So same, we're on the same call. So Don, before I come out and meet with you and Tammy tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, there's just a couple more questions I'd like to ask. Is that okay?
Sure. We're buddies now.
If what I say would make sense and you guys feel completely comfortable and confident that I could sell your home, would you consider listing it with me tomorrow at 6 o'clock?
Probably. I'm not sure that we could make a decision that quickly.
Sure, I can certainly appreciate that. Have you been planning on interviewing any additional agents for the job of selling your home?
Well, I've had a lot of them knock on my door. I got a pile of literature on the countertop.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And so remind me again, you're wanting to move to a lake house here in the area. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
And you'd like to be there ideally as soon as possible so you could try to buy that home before someone else purchases it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I see you, you're asking $240,000 for your home. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. So, just out of curiosity, is there a price you don't want to go below?
Well, I guess the bottom line is what we're really talking about here. We're really looking. We've got to walk away after commission and closing costs. No less than 225. I mean that's really our bottom line.
That makes complete sense. I like to put together something we call a net sheet, Don, and it's going to show you all of the costs that go into a real estate transaction. So with that in mind, can you give me an idea of roughly what you owe on your house at this time?
We owe 150.
150. Okay, terrific. So you got some good equity there. That's fantastic. And I can see you've been trying to sell it yourself. I think I probably know the answer to this question, but I always like to ask: would you like to help finance the home for a new buyer, or do you want to get all your cash out at the time of the sale?
No, we're going to have to get all of our cash out. We couldn't do a land contract because we have a due on sale clause in our mortgage.
Gotcha. That certainly makes sense. And I did drive by it yesterday, so I know your neighborhood, I know your location, but could you describe your home for me, including any big improvements you've made in, say, the last 3 to 5 years?
Well, we put in some really sturdy shelves. We made sure that we screwed them in with heavy-duty nails or screws and so on. A lot of glue in that. And we put on a roof, a new roof maybe 6-7 years ago.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, the olive shag carpeting is still like brand new from 1978. But it wears like iron. So the Harvest Gold appliances, they're kind of getting a little iffy, but they still work okay. So besides, people like to pick out their own appliances, don't they?
Yeah, they usually do. How many bedrooms and bathrooms do you have?
We have 4 bedrooms. We've actually got 3 full baths. And walkout basement levels finished off. There's a bathroom down there. But you have a full bath on each level.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, that sounds great. And Don, do you have any questions before I arrive to meet with you and Tammy?
What's your commission?
That's a great question, and I get asked that all the time. One of the reasons that I like to put together that net sheet is because it gives me an opportunity to put together not just the commission, but all of the other costs that go into selling your home.
Uh-huh.
And I like to make it the first thing we talk about when I walk in the door. Does that sound good?
Sure. Is your commission negotiable?
It could be. It just depends on what kind of service you'd like us to do for you. And we can certainly talk about those kinds of options as well. And just so you know, our meeting's probably only going to take I'd say 15 minutes to maybe a half an hour. Is that okay?
You promise?
I'll do my best.
Fair enough. I'll see you then.
We got one last question. This one's probably the most important. when it's all said and done and I've gotten your home sold, what's one or two things I can make sure I did through the process so you'd be able to say that you were completely satisfied?
Oh, I just want to, I really want somebody to take the burden from my shoulders and run with it. Let it, I'm kind of feeling overwhelmed with the idea right now, frankly. And if somebody can take that off my shoulders, I'd feel great.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to meeting you and seeing your home and putting together a market analysis and sharing that information with you and Tammy. I'll see you guys at 6:00. Okay.
Sounds perfect.
Great. Thank you.
You bet. Now, for all of our visitors, I want to, we've got 7 minutes here left, and I want to move on to another script that, process that Tim uses called his just listed script. He also has an expired script. Don't know if we'll get to it today, but we're going to go through the just listed script, which I think is a really terrific script, especially if you are getting listings. And so I'm just, with that, ring, ring, hello.
Hi, this is Tim Creech with 5-Star Real Estate, and I'm just calling today to give you some information. My company just listed a home at 123 Bennett Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and we just listed it for $279,900. I was just wondering, who do you know that might like to move into your area?
I want to point out that what Tim just did is he took a listing of the company's, not necessarily his, and now he's using that to make cold calls. You don't have to use your own list. You don't have to have a listing to do this. It works great if you do, but this is a great script to use for other people's listings in your office. Help them market their homes. Sorry to break away, but I think that's an important note. Gosh, Tim, thanks for calling. I'm not sure. Come to think of it, I've been talking to my some folks. Their kids are in the band with my kids, and they mentioned they'd like to be a little bit closer to the school, and that this is kind of in the neighborhood.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'd love to get their name and number, and I'd be happy to talk with them about this potential home or see if there's any other homes that I can help them with. Could I get their name and number?
Well, how about if I give them your number and let them call you?
Yeah, sure. That's definitely an option as well. And I can always follow back up with you if I don't hear from them. So I'm kind of curious, Don. I appreciate you taking the time to think about, some other folks. When do you plan on moving yourself?
Well, we're not really planning on moving yourself. I'm going to interject. They will very often say to you, I'll give them your number and let them call you. And I personally will try to refocus back on getting the number from them because they will never call you. So, but moving on. Tim, gosh, when are we moving? We've been thinking about getting out of the winters and moving south. I don't know if we're going to do it this year, next year, the year after. Within the next few years.
Sure. How long have you lived at that address?
47 years.
Wow, 47 years old. Where were you originally from?
The southwest part of Michigan.
How did you happen to pick this area to live in?
I took a wrong turn. What can I tell you? No, I met someone, moved up to Grand Rapids, and so on.
Terrific. Well, just hypothetically, if you were to put your home up for sale and we sold it, how soon do you think you'd want to move? Where do you think you'd go next?
We haven't really given it that much thought. I don't know.
Sure. Well, it is a lot to think about, isn't it? Well, while I've got you on the phone, I would love to invite you to an open house. We're going to be hosting it this Sunday from 12 until 1:30. If you might be able to think of anybody, we'd love to have you invite them. Or maybe if you still have some thoughts that you might entertain selling your house, why don't you come down and take a look at this one? It might give you a great idea of what value you have on your home. I'd love to have the chance to meet you. Again, I'm Tim Creech with Five Star Real Estate.
That'd be, that sounds like a good idea. I think we'll plan to do that.
Awesome. Well, again, it's Sunday from 12 to 1:30. Okay.
Sounds great.
Thanks a lot.
Now, Tim has additional questions here. And yes, Tammy, we can get you a list of those. But very quickly, since we have only a couple minutes left, I'm going to very quickly move over and let Tim take it away with his expired process. Ring, ring. Hello.
Okay. Hi, I'm looking for the owner at 123 Bennett Street.
Yes, I'm the owner.
Hey, you're the owner. Terrific. My name is Tim Creech. I'm with Five Star Real Estate. I'm sure you've probably figured out your home has came up as an expired listing, and I was just calling to see, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home?
Do you have a buyer?
Well, I might possibly. I always like to call and get some information. If you sold your home, sir, where do you plan on going next?
I'm getting transferred to Des Moines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And how soon are you going to be in Des Moines?
Yeah, supposed to be there. I start my new position on the 1st of April. Kind of bad April's Fool's joke, but that's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty short time.
Yeah.
It looks like your home was on the market for about 5 months, and I didn't see where it sold. What do you think stopped it from selling?
The other agent, only held 14 open houses. Most of them were on Sunday, so people don't do business on Sunday, and I'm sure that had an impact. He advertised it, only advertised it in the newspaper twice a week. Had it on Facebook, but I just don't think he marketed the property enough.
How did you happen to pick that last agent that you listed with?
It's my wife's brother.
Oh, your wife's brother. Okay. So what did he do that you liked best?
Well, I really don't like him all that well anyway. Sorry. I just felt as though there could be more aggressive marketing. He could have gotten out with a flyer and knocked on doors in the neighborhood, that sort of thing.
So you think he should have been a little more aggressive? I can certainly appreciate that. What are you going to expect from the next agent you choose to work with?
Some really strong advertising, marketing. I want to see some really good ideas.
Great. And have you made a choice for the agent yet?
Oh no, no. Yeah, you're like the 37th caller today, and it's
I can appreciate that. Yeah, you're probably going to fortunately get a lot of calls. There's a lot of agents like myself that tend to specialize in helping sell properties that other agent couldn't sell. Are you familiar with the techniques I use at Five Star Real Estate to sell homes in your neighborhood like yours?
No, not really.
When would be the best time to show you? I'm available tonight at 6 o'clock, or I could come by tomorrow afternoon at 3.
Let me talk to my wife on that.
Oh, terrific. And what's your wife's name?
Tammy.
Tammy.
Yeah.
Great. And is Tammy usually available in the afternoon or evenings?
Oh, I never know. I never know what her schedule is going to be.
Wow, that's got to be a little hectic.
It is hectic, but I suppose we could set something up and for 7 o'clock and see what happens.
Sure, that sounds fantastic. And Don, if I meet with you and Tammy and what I say makes sense and you feel completely comfortable and confident, then I could sell your home. Are you going to plan on listing it with me tomorrow at 6?
Well, I guess I'd want to see what you have to say first. I can't
Sure.
make any promises.
No, I can appreciate that. Are you planning on interviewing any other agents for the job of selling your home?
Not at this moment, but that's still a possibility.
And you're planning on moving to Des Moines, and you need to be there by April 1st. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I see that you had your home on the market at $349. When I come out to meet you, what price would you like to list your home for?
God, well, it obviously didn't sell at $349. And my company said that they'd buy it out from me at $300. I'd like to get something more than $300, but I don't know what that is.
Well, you know, Don, as a real estate professional, I'm studying homes and prices every day. So therefore, I'm assuming that if you do list it with me, we're going to want to put it at a price that would cause it to sell. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Sure. What's a price that you don't want to go below?
Well, as I said, I can sell it out to the company at 300. So,
300,
yeah.
sure. And just to get an idea of how much money you would walk away with after all of your expenses, can you give me an idea how much you owe on the home at this time?
We have 150.
150,
Yeah.
fantastic. You've got some great equity to protect there, and I'm excited to help you do that. Um, have you ever thought about trying to sell it yourself?
Oh, no. No, I don't have the time to mess with that.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And I'm going to ask you another question. I know the answer, but I always like to ask. When you sell that home, would you like to help the buyer purchase it in any way, or do you want to get all of your cash out at the time of the sale?
Oh, we definitely need to cash out. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. And I'm looking here at the multiple listing that your previous agent did. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that yourself. Is there any additional improvements or updates maybe you've done over the last 5 months that it was on the market I should be aware of?
Well, we've completely renovated the place, granite countertops, everything. I mean, it top to bottom. It's all been redone within the last 2 years.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure that we can highlight that. It didn't necessarily get all spelled out in the multiple listing. I'll bring that along so you can see it when I come out to see you.
Fair enough, Tim.
Um,
I'm going to cut you because we're over already. Great,
Great.
great stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. And I want to point out to those who are joining us that these are really excellent conversation starters. They're guidelines. It's a way to open up a conversation and keep a conversation going with a potential client. Whether it is whether you're working with your sphere of influence, expired listings for sale by owners, or you're using somebody's listing to make outgoing calls, prospecting calls into a neighborhood. To answer Tammy Broma's question here, no, he's using, it's all telephone technique. It's not door knocking. So,
you can door knock with this, though, too,
yes.
if you wanted to.
And we've seen a resurgence of door knocking in the last few years, just so you're aware. More agents are out door knocking now than they did 5 and 10 years ago. Back 30 years ago, it was fairly common. We're seeing a resurgence of it. So there are a lot of opportunities to do prospecting, go get listings, and we thought it would be a good opportunity for us to share some real life conversations. I threw some curves at Tim, and he handled them like a pro. Those are the curves you're going to get when you make prospecting calls. Be ready for them. Be prepared to address them in a professional way, as Tim has done. So we are well into this and about ready to wrap it up. So again, if you have any
Don, if I
questions,
could
go ahead, Tim.
If I could just add a little bit, I know some people get nervous when you talk with the idea of using a script, but any true professional you work with has a script. If you go to see the doctor, no matter what, they're going to take your temperature. They're probably going to weigh you and measure you, even if you're going in for something that doesn't have anything to do with your temperature and your weight. They have a process they go through. A pilot never takes off the ground without going through his pre-flight checklist. In fact, he legally has to do that. So when you get a script, the design is not to make yourself sound like a robot, but to give you a free-flowing conversation you feel comfortable and confident having, especially if somebody can be less than nice on the phone. When you stick right on that script, oftentimes people will literally walk right down a script with you, and it's amazing how you can get the information you want, stay comfortable and confident yourself, and you make sure you don't miss anything, and you're going to come off so much more professional for the process. It's amazing how it helps. I role play and practice 5 days a week, so it helps.
Well, I can appreciate how you feel because I worked expireds and built my career when I started on calling expireds. And whether you call it a script or a process or a protocol, it does allow you to be prepared for whatever you're going to encounter from the person talking to you on the phone. It's very, very important that you rehearse it. You have to get really, really good at it in order to make it comfortable and sound genuine. So we're going to leave it there. We're at 1:30, and Tim, can't thank you enough. I hope that every agent out there looks at this and learns from it. So thanks for joining.
Be happy to talk. Yeah, my pleasure. I'd be happy to talk with anybody. If you want to just give me a call or messenger me, I'm happy to answer any questions or help with anybody any way I can.
Sounds great. Thanks, Tim, and thank you
Thanks
for
for having
joining.
me. Bye, everybody.